Yo, what's cracking YouTube? So this video is gonna be a little different, right? I actually went on Instagram and asked you guys what videos you guys wanted me to do, and the first one that popped up was what's in my camera bag. I mean, I'm interested to see what I use and what's the gear that's in my bag daily. So without further ado, let's go check it out. Yo guys, what's going on? So yeah, today we are focusing on what's in my camera bag, what I use on a daily, what equipment I use. Now granted, you're gonna see some equipment that isn't in my camera bag on a daily, but I do use frequently, whether on client works, whether on shoots, whether on vlogs, whatever video that I put up on YouTube. So don't get discouraged if you see like there's a lot in my camera bag, but then like there's a lot outside of the camera bag. Don't worry about that. I'll put everything down low in the description as well for all the equipment that I use, so that in case you want to buy it or in case you was interested and you notice that I use it now, you guys can click the links down low and purchase it yourself. So starting off with an item that I use more times than not, more than anything else in my bag that actually isn't in my bag on a daily, is actually this book right here. I was given this notepad by my teacher in high school named Miss Brickle, and at first I didn't know what to do with it, but the moment I was interested in YouTube videos and doing photography and videography, I knew that this book was going to be very useful. Now granted, I know I was in YouTube since like 2016 and I got this book way back in 2015. I started using this book and trust me, it helps out a lot. So for those who are like wanting to get into photography or videography but you don't necessarily know where to put down your notes, or if you ever have an idea and you don't want it to slip away, this works very well in your camera bag. I use this all the time. You don't gotta get this specific one. Obviously, I don't think there's a link for this type of book, but you can buy this book at like any Walmart, Walgreens, Michaels. You can buy this anywhere pretty much. It's just a simple little notepad. Alright, so to kick off the camera bag equipment, we're gonna start with the actual bag. And that is the newer starter bag. It's also called a backpack. I actually got this on Amazon for about 20 to 30 bucks. This bag, even though it's very small, it works for beginners, mainly because you're a beginner, so you don't have a lot of equipment. So for those that want to get started, I think this is a very great bag. It has a lot of pockets. It has like these two side pockets, so let's say you got a tripod that's kind of small. It also comes with like clips. I don't have the clips because I kind of lost it like last year or something, but if you have a tripod, if you have a gorilla pod that you want to put here, if you got water, if you have any accessories that might be kind of large or you don't want it to necessarily go inside the bag with all of your technical equipment, you can put it on the sides. It's really spacious in here, well, at least for the side pockets. So like let's say you got them, you know, like the Fiji bottled water, so it's like really large compared to like the Poland Spring very small water bottles, it will still fit in here. But yeah, one thing I love about this bag is that it's waterproof. Granted, there were times where, you know, I was going out to shoot and I didn't expect it to rain. It works well in snow as well. I took this out in the winter time when it was snowing. None of my equipment got wet, nothing inside was wet. Now digging inside the bag, yes, my bag is a little clustered as you guys saw. We're gonna start off with like the humble beginnings, like what's the very first equipment that I purchased. Alright, bet. So to start off, we started with the Canon Rebel T5i. I've been using this camera since I first started, and I recently stopped using this. I still use it today. I'm not saying I stopped using it completely. I just mean like as my main horsepower. Like this is not the main camera no more. This is more like the secondary backup camera, just in case, you know, the main camera that I shoot on, which is what you guys are seeing now, if that one was to fail or my battery dies or something, I have this as a backup. But this is a great beginner camera. I'm still in love with this camera. I think right now you can get this set up for about like 400 bucks. This is not expensive at all. It shoots really well. It shoots 1080p at 30 frames per second. If I'm not mistaken, I think it shoots 720 at 60 frames per second. It also shoots 24 frames per second, so anybody that's in a cinematic world that wants, you know, to get that cinematic look, this can do it as well. It has a flip out screen, so for those that want to vlog and see themselves, poof, this works for you. This also has a built-in flash, although you might want to go get an external flash, which is something that I'm looking towards to next. But this camera right here, it comes with the kit lens if you buy the kit. If you don't buy the kit, it just comes with the body. The kit lens itself comes with the 18 to 55, or you can get the 18 to 135, I believe. But I stuck with this because, you know, obviously in my humble beginnings when I was starting in 2016, this camera worked perfectly fine for me. It's lightweight, it's absolutely beautiful. The batteries that it uses is not the regular batteries. The batteries that it does use does not fit with most of Canon's, you know, upper class cameras, but it does last very long. I think one battery lasted me about 3 hours. This camera is a really great beginner lens for anybody that wants to, you know, really get started in the whole videography, photography, YouTube, creative field. Let's talk about some lenses. All right, we got the little nifty 50, one of the greatest lenses of all time, the 50mm lens from Canon f1.8. This lens is beautiful. It's a prime lens. What prime means, for those that don't know, prime is basically that one focal length. So it doesn't zoom in, it doesn't zoom out, it just stays at 50 the entire time. But basically, if you have a full frame lens, it's gonna work at 50mm. If you have a crop sensor lens or crop sensor camera, you're gonna get like I think a 80 or 85 or something like that. But this lens right here is absolutely beautiful. The focus is sharp as hell, especially if you have a dual pixel autofocus camera. This lens right here, man, I use this lens mostly for portraits. So anytime I'm shooting somebody like up close, or if I'm trying to get their face, or if they have makeup done, this lens right here would work perfectly. I don't really use this lens much for vlogs or tutorials or like the videos I'm shooting now, because my room is so small, as you guys can probably see, that this lens, because I have a crop sensor camera, is gonna zoom way too close into my face to the point where the video doesn't show out. I kind of want to get a little bit of the background. So this camera, although it does have amazing depth of field because of its f-stop, which is a 1.8, this lens, because of my crop sensor, is way too close to my face. Even if I had a full frame, I think 50 would still be a little too much. So this lens, although it's in my bag, it doesn't get used that often unless I'm on a client shoot where I'm trying to do a portrait or I'm trying to get a close-up shot. All right, so next up we have LCE6 camera charger for my battery. As you guys know, I do use a new camera now. We're gonna get into the next camera later. This is the charger for it. It's not for this though. This has another battery charger that is over there in my room. It's over there, it's plugged in, but it uses a whole different kind of charger. But this is, you know, it's in my bag just in case, you know, I'm running with the camera that I'm using now and the battery's getting low and I'm next to a plug. So, you know, while I'm using the backup, I have this charger charging up the battery that I'm using now. I don't remember the full name, but it will be down below in the description. But from what I'm reading here, it's the Saramonic SR-AX100. This right here is obviously it connects to the top of the camera so that, you know, the camera can pick up, you know, a wireless receiving from the transmitter. So this, along with this is what goes on the person. This is what goes on the person, and the receiver will go on the camera. So it's a whole setup, but I mainly got this for about 300 bucks on Amazon. It is beautiful. What it is, it's a lavalier microphone system. So instead of having, you know, my microphone on the top of the camera, I have it, you know, on my persons. So say for example, if you guys watch the Need to Know, the Need to Know has, you know, us using lavalier mics. That's what this system is. It basically allows us to get clearer audio when we're in a, you know, a loud echoey room. So yeah, if you're interested in getting clearer audio, not only for loud rooms, but even rooms like this where it's kind of small and you want to get like really crispy audio, lavalier mics work very well. I personally don't use it for times when I'm in my room or like when I'm in a small spacious spot, because I feel like the mic that's on top of my camera is pretty close enough for me to catch some really good audio, as you guys can probably hear. And if it sounds bad, then I'm clearly gonna have to switch to the lav. But yeah, this is battery powered, so you're gonna have to buy a couple batteries, but regardless, you know, this system works extremely well. And yeah, what is next in my bag? It's not a lot in my bag, so, you know, obviously we're gonna get to the equipment that's outside of my bag that, you know, is used as well. So we got the first, you know, lower pocket. It has, you know, my AirPods. So, you know, obviously AirPods are for, you know, the daily driver when you're trying to listen to music, or, you know, you just don't want to be bothered by the world. So, you know, you throw them in. You got two batteries in here. This is for the Rebel T5i. This is the battery that it comes with. It's kind of small, so you can automatically tell that, you know, you're not gonna get a lot of hours in terms of like it dying on you, but it still works just as fine, and it still lasts me about like 2.5–3 hours. Then we have this piece right here. This piece is for my tripod, which I'll get into in a bit. But this piece right here is actually what goes, it screws in on the camera so that the camera can be attached to the tripod. So very handy to have this. If I don't have this, I can't use my tripod. And then we got like a couple AA batteries in here. This is mainly for the lavalier. Like I explained before, the lavalier uses batteries, so, you know, Duracell AA batteries, killer every single time. And that's the bottom. That is the bottom. Obviously there's more stuff that goes in here, like the LPE6 battery that I'm using now. Obviously some cords will go in here, like if I'm trying to bring my hard drive with me during the day, so I want to edit out on the road. my hard drive and the cord will go in there. If I need my if I'm trying to charge my phone charger would be in here as well. I just don't have it in here right now because, you know, more times than not I'm using it during the day, but when I'm traveling out, it'll be in here. And on the top layer we have my filters. So my filters go on my lenses. Well, actually goes on only one lens because the main lens that I'm using, which is what you guys see now, is what I use a lot for shooting. So we have 3 filters here. Each of them are kind of different. One is a clear one. This is for like a UV, which need to be clean, goddamn. But yeah, this is more for like, you know, when you're outside shooting and the sun is like right on your face or is right on your subject's face and you want to get a clear shot without changing the settings on your camera. This works absolutely well. I got this on Amazon as well, I think for around 50 bucks. I'm not really sure, I don't remember because I bought this like a while ago. But this is the Altura photo filters. Then we got a magic fiber cloth. I basically use this to clean all my lenses, all of the filters, obviously anything that has glass. I use this for, you know, to clear out so that I can get a sharper image instead of getting dust and, you know, nasty particles all over. And then finally we have my SD card holder from Hansky. This is a hard shell cover. It recently broke, not broke, but like it got banged up because I was going on a shoot and I didn't notice that it was like under my chair and kind of, you know, it was a car chair and I kind of moved back and then, you know, but just to see how, you know, even though it got like a little dent here and it can't really close on its own, it still keeps my SD card safe. Like my SD cards did not mess up at all. I have a lot here. I have for videos, I have for photos, I have for my drone, which I'll get into later, and then I have a micro SD reader for drones. Drones don't use regular SD cards, they use micro SDs. So I would plug the micro SD into this one so that it can fit into my computer and I can, you know, retrieve the footage. All right, and then of course we have a few pieces of equipment that's outside of my bag but I still use on a daily. For starters, we're gonna talk about this drone here. This is the DJI Phantom 3 Standard. I don't use the Pro. I didn't want to upgrade for a while because, let's be real, they're expensive. I think this is one of the most expensive pieces of gear I've ever bought. This cost me about 600 bucks at the time. I don't know if it went down by now, but I'm pretty sure it did. But you can get it on Amazon. It's absolutely beautiful. The only downside to it is that it's very big. The more times I could avoid using it, I would. Regardless, it still gets absolute great quality video from up in the sky. I used it in a few vlogs. I've used it for client work, like with Blue. Blue is the person y'all see on the vlogs and stuff. But yeah, I've used it. I don't use it like all the time or very often, but when I do, trust me, it's absolutely beautiful. Another piece of equipment that I keep in my bag is this little guy right here. For those that have MacBooks or for those that are Apple heads, you know that the MacBook Pro, the more recent ones, I think from like 2016 and up, don't have, you know, SD card readers and, you know, USB B's or A's, is it? But the regular USB ports. My hard drive uses this part and my SD card uses this. So because the MacBook Pro doesn't have it, I keep this in my bag so when I'm bringing my laptop with me, I can edit on the go. This works really well. It's been with me for about 2 years now and it's absolutely amazing. We have my tripod. I forgot what this is called, but oh, here we go. It's called the Sunpack Travel Light Pro. This is a beast of a tripod. I bought this for about 100 bucks at Best Buy actually, but I'm pretty sure you can find it on Amazon for cheaper. This lens, I said lens. This tripod is very light. It's not heavy at all. As you can see, it's probably like about like a pound and a half, maybe 2. But it works absolutely well for any shoot that I've done. I use it all the time for the need to know. I use it for client work. I've used it like many times before where I put it on the side of my bag and it fits absolutely well. So yeah, if you want that tripod, is down low in the description. I can't really explain it too much because, you know, at the end of the day, all tripods are tripods, but you know, you have the ball, you can stretch out the legs. It's marvelous the way that I've been using this tripod for about a year now and it's been absolutely beautiful. And lastly, we're going to talk about the gear that I'm using right now, filming this video that you guys can't see. For starters, we're going to talk about the Rode Video Mic Go. Beast of a mic. Granted, I do want to switch over to the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, but right now I use the Video Mic Go for vlogs, for YouTube videos like this where I'm at home, and sometimes on the need to know when, you know, obviously I only have 2 lavalier mics, and so when we have guests and there's more than 2 people, I use this on top of my camera. So yes, if you're interested in getting this Rode Video Mic Go, It's only about $100 from the time that I bought it, so it might be cheaper than that, or it might stay the same, but it'll be down low in the description. Next up, holding the camera itself is my GorillaPod. I don't remember what company it's from, but I'm pretty sure, oh, there we go. It's from Joby. It actually gets the job done. Granted, I had some times where, you know, it started falling or it wasn't like stable enough, so it started like slipping away. You know, in the near future, I might upgrade to something different. But regardless, this works very great for beginners, for intermediate, for even advanced people who want to get, you know, that vlog notion going, or even when you're on a table and you don't want to put your whole tripod on your whole desk, so you have like a small little tripod. This is a beast of a mini tripod. I love it. It's absolutely great. And I use it almost all the time. Next up, we have the lens that I'm shooting on, which is the Sigma 17-50 f2.8. This lens is popping. All right, I have no complaints. Actually, the only complaint I have about this lens is the fact that it has a motor AF system, so that when I turn on my autofocus, you know, it starts making noise. That's the only downside to this lens, but besides that, it is a beast of a lens. It gets me really sharp images. From the images that you see that I post, most of them come from this lens. This lens is popping. I think I bought it for about 250 or maybe 300, somewhere around there. This lens has been with me for about 1.5 years now, and I'm absolutely loving it. And finally, the biggest of them all, my most favorite gear that I recently just purchased actually, is the Canon 7D Mark II. This camera is bad. I mean, and when I say bad, I don't mean like bad as in like, no, don't buy it. I mean like bad as in like, it's a beast of a camera. Obviously, you know, it's not the cheapest, I would say. It's not at all, but trust me, if you make the investment, it's well worth it. It shoots 10 frames per second, so you know, if you're shooting sports and you got like fast movement, this is the camera for you. It also has dual pixel autofocus, which I love. The only downside to this camera is that it doesn't have a flip out screen, so you know, when I'm shooting things like this, it's kind of hard for me to see where I'm at or how I'm looking, which is where HD monitor would come in. This camera, man, like I think I made a really great investment, and you can actually find this for cheap. I know right now this camera runs for about $1,100-1,200. I actually bought this for about $600. You guys can find some deals on eBay, you can find some deals on Amazon, wherever the case may be. So to wrap up the video, thank you guys for watching. One thing I want to say before I end this is that although you see all this equipment in my bag, it did not come overnight. I had to work hard for this. I had to, you know, go out and shoot. So if you feel like you want to get the best equipment in the world, trust and believe, if you have no experience in photography, it will not make a difference. All right, as you can see, I started off with the Rebel T5i, and I still got some really great quality images on Instagram, as you can see, or even with my website, WeWantMoore.com. So please don't get discouraged. Don't feel like you have to go get like the 7D Mark II, or you have to get, you know, a Joby GorillaPod. Like, start off small, grow as you move along, and then, you know, eventually get upgrade to like bigger and better things. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching again. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. It's _WeWantMoore for Instagram and Twitter, wewant.moore on Snapchat. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys next time, man. Thank you guys for watching. Deuces. Ooh.